Tonight we're on Reddit as we explore disturbing mysteries from the RBI subreddit. So sit back, relax, and let's step into the darkness. What would you do if you noticed strange things start to happen around your house? That was the reality for one Redditor. I moved into my first house in February. I'm mortgaging it, living in the UK. A couple months after moving in, I would pick up on odd things. For example, the doormat being halfway across the entry hallway after I came home, or misplaced items such as the TV remote, the garage remote, my vape going missing after I left it on charge before heading to work. I still haven't found that to this day. That's not all. At first, I was worried that I may be having memory issues, until I noticed more obvious signs, like food being eaten that was left on the countertops, or my bed pillows being indented as if someone had laid on them, and the rug under my bed being a third folded over. Most recently, and what made me order some security cameras was when I was sick and off work, and I can swear to you, when I was in the kitchen, I heard the doorknob jiggle and the rattle of keys. This was only a couple of days ago. I have bought some inconspicuous looking cameras online, but I don't know what to do from here. I'm scared of catching someone wandering around my house. What do I do if I catch someone? I am seriously dreading it. Any advice welcome, even some reassurance honestly. I don't have many friends or family, so I feel a bit alone in all this. It's all a bit at the moment. Also forgot to add, I did call a non-emergency line after I heard what sounded like someone trying to come into the house when I was off sick. They didn't help much, and asked if I have camera footage of someone trying to get in, but I didn't. Especially since nothing was stolen or damaged, there wasn't much of a case. I did request to put in a statement, and that was it. I think if this happened to any one of you watching this video, you would be extremely freaked out, as would I. I can't imagine having this much suspicion, but no way to prove it. As commenters pointed out, it would be a really good idea to change the locks to the home. If OP didn't do this when they moved in, then there is a high chance that someone else could have access to a spare key, even if it wasn't given out by the homeowner. With everything taken into account, it certainly sounds as though someone has actually been inside of the house, which is incredibly unsettling. So OP should be looking to sort this out as an emergency. Others suggested that rather than being another person in the house, it could be rats or mice making the noise. But with the circumstances described by OP, such as the doorknob moving, leftover food being eaten, and bedsheets being indented, this seems like the less likely option out of the two. OP included in an edit to the post that the cameras they had ordered had arrived, and that they were going to put them up. They also said that they were going to contact the local locksmith that afternoon and get him to change the locks ASAP. They said that they would update if they found out anything else, and this is what they said in their first update post. Hi. Thanks for everyone's help on my previous post. After installing new cameras on Sunday, along with getting my front and back locks changed, I felt nervous but secure. Monday afternoon, I checked the footage and found nothing amiss. However, on Tuesday afternoon, I did catch a man trying to get in through my front door. When he realised he couldn't get in, he tried the back door, which I had stupidly left unlocked. I didn't think anyone would climb the fence and the hedging to get through, but it is clear that it was not his first time. He went inside, sat on the sofa, my bed, ate some food that I left out. He definitely did not look homeless. And I've never seen him before. The footage was sent to the police, and they're trying to locate the man. They even put out a Facebook post on the police station's profile with screenshots saying that they want to speak with this man. I was told that they're going to try to hang around my home for the next few days, and if they see him try to enter again, then he'll be arrested. So I'm staying with my mum now, as I can't shake this dread that this man has been letting himself into my home for however long. I don't think I want to live there anymore, in all honesty. Probably the outcome that OP had been dreading the most. Although it certainly seemed as though someone had been inside of the home, OP could live in almost blissful ignorance before the cameras had been installed, with their brain possibly thinking up rational conclusions or explanations as to why the strange things inside of their home had been happening. But now, the proof was right in front of them, and it was undeniable. A man, who they did not recognise, had been using their home as if it was their own. The way he simply hops a fence and lets himself in, even after realising that the locks had been changed, indicates a level of comfort, and we can be certain that this is who has been causing all of the discrepancies. The fact that the man allegedly didn't look homeless either is disturbing, not as if that makes it any better either way, but if this truly was a man who had access to his own home, food, what could he possibly be putting OP through this for? Was it simply for the thrill? Some people put forward some thoughts that may make OP feel better. The first of many was, what if this man was a friend of the previous homeowner and used to allow himself in? It would explain why he seemed so comfortable doing so, and one commenter even chimed in with their own story of this exact same thing happening. They said, I have a similar story. I sold my home in January 2021. The entire process was quick. The home was listed, sold, and closed on within 60 days. There was a university 0.5 miles down the road. Many years ago, I had given a friend who was attending that university a spare set of keys so that he could use my house to nap, study, eat, whatever between classes. He didn't come by much in 2020, perhaps not at all. Unfortunately, in all the commotion, I had failed to tell him I moved. He called me from my old house just to let me know that he had stopped by to study in the event I came home. I'm sure part of him called too because he was confused or overwhelmed by all the new furniture, art, decor. Needless to say, he was super embarrassed. He snuck out and left undetected. The new homeowners were not home at that time, but I have no idea if they installed cameras. I suppose it's possible they did, reviewed the footage, and noticed the same things as yourself. Some random guy helping themselves into their house with seemingly no malicious intent. Could this simply be a case of someone being stuck in routine with no idea that circumstances had changed? It was possible. Thankfully, we have another update on the situation. Not too long after my previous update post, my ex reached out to me. I tried to contact him a few days prior, messaged him a couple of times on WhatsApp, but he ignored the messages, though he was online multiple times. I wanted to ask him if he ever made spare keys to my home before we separated, and I explained my current situation as a reason to why I'd been asking this. He sent me back a message nearly a week later, asking to meet up. He wanted me to come to his home, but due to some previous events that led to us separating, I said I would feel more comfortable in a public space. When we met, I asked him again about the keys. He quite plainly replied that yes, he did make a spare before he gave my key back, but has claimed that it was a while before we separated, and said that he had lost them some time ago anyway. My ex is not a very good liar, and in all honesty, I don't understand why he even asked me to meet in person, because once his eyes started darting around, I knew he was lying to me. I pressed him some more, and showed him the Facebook post from the police's page. He looked at the CCTV screenshots of the man for a few minutes. I also showed him the actual footage I had of the man coming in and out. After a few minutes of silence, and what I assume was him weighing his options, he told me that he believed the man in the footage and screenshots was his uncle. I had to press a lot to get anything else out of him. He eventually showed me a picture of his dad and uncle, and I can safely say that is most definitely the uncle that was coming into my home. I asked my ex how the uncle got my keys, along with other questions, which he wouldn't answer a lot of them, and just kept repeating, I don't know, I don't know. Shortly after that, he got up and left. He wouldn't answer any messages or calls I made in the following days. I asked him if he would be willing to speak to the police and tell them about his uncle, but he has not been cooperative at all. He wants nothing to do with this. I have spoken to the police since and told them what my ex told me. However, they would need him to willingly give a statement himself, which he refuses to do. The little I did find out was that his uncle is homeless, so I don't even know how they'd go about finding him. My ex has not spoken to me since the last time we met. He clearly doesn't want anything to do with this situation. His uncle has not yet been located anywhere either. He's not been back since, and the cameras have not spotted him for nearly a month now. I am back at my home now, and I've had a security alarm system installed. My mum has been staying with me, and using this time as an excuse to redo my backyard. I genuinely don't know what to think at this point. I'm just happy that he's not been back since, but I am incredibly frustrated with my ex that he won't speak to the police because they can't do much without his statement identifying that he knows the man in the footage. It also doesn't help that the uncle is homeless and doesn't have an address or job to his name. A very disturbing outcome. It turns out that not only was the man homeless, but he was actually known to OP's ex. I can't even imagine how much dread I would feel if my friend's family member were coming into my home and treating it like their own. As commenters pointed out, it seems incredibly strange that the police are refusing to do anything without the ex's statement. Anonymous tips are a thing, shocker. Someone could have easily tipped them off as to who the man in the footage was, especially because it has been posted on Facebook. He has literally been caught in 4K. Or maybe 720p. OP elaborated in the comments about the reason for their breakup, stating that their ex had beaten them twice while they were together. Although it may seem crazy that the police are refusing to take seriously an incident where a violent ex's relative is strolling into the victim's house without consent, that sadly does sound like the reality with the police here in the United Kingdom. A lot of crimes like this aren't taken seriously at the best of times, but it shouldn't take OP getting harmed again for them to finally act. And sadly, as others have pointed out, there is a high chance that the ex has actually played a part in this. An abusive ex giving their relative spare keys to a home that they know is occupied by someone who they had previously assaulted, that screams suspicious. And by doing that, he has knowingly put OP in incredible danger. A terrifying end to a disturbing tale. I just wanted to quickly say that if you're enjoying this video, it would mean the world to me if you like it, subscribe to the channel and share the video. If you want additional and uncensored content just like this, then make sure that you check out my new membership platform, Jessicur Plus. For $7.50 a month, you can get access to over 100 videos, including banned and uncensored videos that were too much for YouTube. Go to jessicur.com if you're interested. But without further ado, let's get back to the video. For this Redditor, red flags started to pop up as their elderly mother made a new friend who seemed incredibly suspicious. I cannot for the life of me figure out why I feel like this, but all of my spidey senses are tingling on this woman. Here's a bit of background. My 40F elderly mum, 70F, has been ill for quite some time and is on hospice. She was living in an independent living place where it was all elderly people in apartment type units. She has been living there for about 6 or 7 months and made a few casual old people friends, but mostly kept to herself. Or so I thought. A couple of weeks ago, my boys and I were visiting my mum. We live right down the street and visit often, when a woman walks up to us with my mum. I extended my hand to introduce myself to this woman when she dismissed the handshake and instead went in for a hug and said, "Oh, I only do hugs for family, and we're pretty much family." Okay, a little weird coming from someone I've never met before, and also never even heard a single mention of her, but I pretty much brush it off, thinking to myself that she's probably just really lonely or something. I asked my mum about this new friend, and she just says that they met there at the old people place, and she's been a really good friend to her. Great. I love when my mum has friends. It's important to have friends. But this woman just keeps giving me weird vibes, and I can't pinpoint why. A few things that seem odd to me. 1. My mum is moving to a more traditional apartment complex this weekend, and this new friend liked the new apartment complex so much that she decided to move to the same place as well. Her apartment isn't ready yet, but she will be moving to the same complex as my mum next month. 2. She apparently bought my mum's dog a "I have the world's best auntie" sweatshirt for Christmas. They had known each other for maybe 2 months at that point. 3. She called the other day too. I don't really know why. I guess to give me her phone number and more formally introduce herself to me. She talked about doing a lot of caretaking stuff for my mum. Stuff like, "Oh, I can manage her medications for her if you want." So I replied that while I do appreciate the offer, there is a lot of controlled medications and hospice prefers to keep minimal people involved in the medicine stuff, and that taking on caretaking responsibilities for a friend can get exhausting, so it might be best for them to just focus on being friends, rather than her wearing herself out trying to take care of her. She immediately went to my mum and made it sound like I was talking my own mom, saying how she's just an exhausting person, blah blah blah. When I confronted new friend about going to my mum and relaying our private conversation in a totally twisted way, the friend lied and said that my mom had grabbed her phone and read it all in the text messages. It was over the phone and not at all via text. When I pointed out that there were no text messages, she just kind of stumbled and I dropped it because I knew it wouldn't get anywhere. 4. Every time I talk to my mom on the phone, I can hear this woman telling her what to say or adding comments in, and none of it is outwardly worrisome things, but it feels like I can't have any conversation with just my mom. I'm a very trusting person who generally tries to see the best in people, and this woman has not given me any concrete reasons to doubt her intentions, and has, in fact, been very friendly and polite to me in all our interactions. Nonetheless, I can't shake this feeling that there's something wrong here. I sat my mum down yesterday and had a conversation with her about my feelings toward this new friend, and she didn't get defensive at all, but did disagree with me. She said that her new friend is just being kind and offering to help with stuff, because she knows my mom is not the most organised of people and could use the help. I begged my mom to please be cautious and to take the friendship slow and to keep it simply as a friendship and let me, her actual family, handle caretaking stuff. Despite no changes in medications, my mom has been more confused lately and comes across to me like she's overtaken medication, but I only give her 1 dose at a time, and the rest is locked up at all times, so it isn't that. But just to be safe, since she's more confused lately, I took my mom's credit and debit cards so that no one can take advantage of her financially. Reddit. Please help me figure out what this woman would have to gain in coming between me and my mom if it isn't medication or money. I don't know how to do a background search or if that's legal for any random person to do, but I did look this new friend up on a couple of websites, and all I learned from that is that she has a lot of also known as names, but I can't find anything else. I'll pay for a background search if anyone has a recommendation for good ones. Does any of this raise any red flags to anyone else, or am I just being too overprotective of my mom on this? Oh, I almost forgot. I called one of my mom's oldest and closest friends the other day and asked her if she's met this new friend, and if so, what was her impression. She said, "Honestly, I don't know why I feel like this, but I just get a bad feeling about her. I just feel like she's up to no good." Hearing this made me feel better in that I'm not the only one to pick up on something, but I don't know what, if anything, to do about it all. This so-called friend is certainly suspicious, but what is she actually up to? As some commenters pointed out, it's likely that she is trying to get something out of OP's mum, with the most likely thing being money. It's important that OP makes sure that their mum hasn't signed anything over to this new friend, such as giving them power of attorney or something similar. In a response to one of the top comments on this post, Opie says that their mum's key to their new apartment mysteriously disappeared. This was strange, but the new friend was simply brushing it off and blaming it on Opie's mum being goofy and losing things all the time. The problem though? Opie's mum can't get the key off the keyring by herself. When Opie brought this up to the friend, they had no response. With this, Opie was urged to get the complex to change the locks. There is no reason why this new friend should be moving in with her, and if it turns out to be true that she was the one who actually stole the key without anyone seeing, then changing the locks is certainly the best possible move. Others suggested that Opie ask for permission from their mum to install some cameras in the common areas, simply to be on the lookout. While this could be seen as invasive, in a situation like this, if all parties were to agree, it could be a good option, because as one commenter put it, expect the best but prepare for the worst. Apart from all of these suspicious signs, the biggest red flag by far is the request from the new friend to take over the medication schedule. That is an incredibly delicate thing to put on yourself, especially if you've only known someone for a few months, and if the family are clearly unwilling, then it raises even more suspicion that you're trying to then turn that into them being the bad guys. And this is something that has happened many times in the past. Make small requests, try your luck, and then slowly start to shut off your potential victim from all of the important people in their lives, usually family. But it could be your partner, your best friend, but if they're actively trying to seclude you, then you should be incredibly concerned. As it turns out, Opie's concerns seem to have been rooted in reality, as they provided this update. Immediately after I posted last, I went to talk with my mom. I explained my concerns and she agreed to the 2 cameras I put up in her apartment. On moving day, I was out of the apartment for a few minutes taking my kids back to my house when I logged onto the camera app to test out the settings. I overheard my mum and the friend talking about me. It was not very nice and very much seemed like the friend was just teeing things up to come between my mum and I. My mum was playing right into it. The friend, I'll just call her Fran to make it easier, was gone when I got back to the apartment, but I got into it with my mom. I was crying, telling her how hurtful it was to hear my own mother participating in a negative conversation about me after everything I do and have done for her. She cried, I cried, it was awful, but at the end, I had at least convinced her that Fran was up to no good. Mom agreed to create some distance between her and Fran, and she immediately told Fran that her behaviour towards me was not going to fly any longer, and all talk of anything to do with me was off limits. Fran seemed to understand, and blamed her behaviour towards me on some flimsy excuse that I did not buy for a second. All was calm for a week or so, when one morning, I called my mom to check in on her only to find out that she was with Fran, out running errands. When I pushed for more information, I uncovered that Fran had taken my mum to the bank so that my mum could obtain a new debit card. Fran very much knew I had taken my mum's debit card, with my mum's blessing, because my mum was having episodes of increased confusion, and wasn't aware of who or what she was spending money on. But still, Fran claimed that she took her there because my mom had forgotten she had given me her previous debit card. That was the final straw for me. That night I sent Fran the following text message. Hi Fran. Mom told me about you guys going to the bank today to get a card, and I just wanted to let you know that I know my mom appreciates your friendship, but that I do not appreciate you getting yourself involved in things that you have no business being involved in. Mom and I have our finances under control between the two of us, and we do not need any assistance getting her squared away, no matter how well-meaning. She's asked me to take her card again, the new one, and has put me as the main account holder, so I can be sure that she has access to what she needs, but that no one else does. I want to believe that you're coming from a sincere place of just wanting to help my mum, but it complicates friendships greatly when you get into financial territory. I handle all of my mum's finances and medical stuff, and it's working for us that way. My mum very much appreciates having you as our friend, but she doesn't need a caretaker. I've got that covered. If you sincerely want to be her friend, you need to take 10 giant steps back and check yourself regarding how you are coming across to me. Because, from my perspective, it very much looks like you are dancing precariously close to the elder abuse line, and I'm sure you wouldn't want for me to get the authorities involved here. But that's exactly what will happen if things continue down this path. Fran responded with some bullshit reply akin to, "Oh my word, I would never take advantage of anyone, and I just wanted to help your mum, blah blah blah. Oh, and I think you and I have gotten off on the wrong foot, which is my fault, but I'd like to start over again," more blah 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 blah. I never replied to Fran further, and she has, shockingly, not really reached out to my mum since. I believe she is due to move into the apartment complex this weekend though, so we shall see if she pops back up out of the woodwork. I think she understands that I see through her attempts to come between my mum and I, and that she will need to focus her efforts to scam people somewhere else. I notified my mum's hospice nurses and her social worker as well. I also bought a really super cool medication dispenser that is locked and syncs up to an app so that I get notified every time it dispenses a medication. That made me feel much better about Fran not having any access whatsoever to my mum's prescriptions, but the trip to the bank showed me exactly what Fran was after. I notified the bank that if Fran is with my mum, they are to contact me immediately. All in all, I think most of you were correct. Fran was using my mum for money, or she was trying to, but luckily I caught it before much damage was done. I think I've made my position on Fran clear to her, which is why she's staying away. I think I still need to contact the independent living facility about my concerns with Fran though, because, and I swear I'm not making this up, my mum says that Fran is going to be working at the independent living facility after she moves out, and I don't want her being in a position to take advantage of anyone else. Thank you again to everyone who replied and reached out to me with resources and or advice. I read every reply, and I actually read a number of them to my mom as well. It really helped her to see Fran for who she really is. OP also includes an additional bit of information in the comments. They picked up something on the camera that they had agreed with their mum to install. It turns out that Fran had actually held on to OP's mum's wallet and social security card after she allegedly found them on moving out day and didn't want them to get lost. This was the thing that made OP realise that they needed to put a freeze on their mum's credit, and of course that was certainly the best thing to do. The fact that Fran tries to weasel their way back into the good books as well is very disturbing. Getting off on the wrong foot is very different from clear and blatant elder abuse. Hopefully, OP's mum is doing well now, far out of reach of their alleged friend. This Redditor came to the RBI subreddit for advice on their stalker, because the situation just keeps getting worse. I really don't know what to do at this point. This explanation is kind of long, but I think it's all important to the story. Basically, on my 19th birthday, which occurred in July 2025, me and one of my female friends went out to the city, and I became extremely intoxicated. She was drinking too, but I was much more drunk than she was. Everything was going fine until we entered the train station to go home. As we entered this train station, I drunkenly spoke to this man, just saying hi. This man approached me, trying to hug and kiss me and whatnot. Being drunk, I didn't resist, but also didn't kiss him back. My friend tried to defend me and told him to leave me alone, but he would not. My friend and I live in opposite directions. Her stop is before mine, and I needed to Uber the rest of the way home, so my friend left me and I was alone with this man. I began to sober up a bit, and he kept pushing me for my number, which I gave him. He told me where he lives, and kept pushing me to come back to his place with him. I kept insisting that I needed to get home, and I called my Uber, but when my ride arrived, he literally picked me up and would not let me get in. He started to get more angry, pulling my hair. My phone died, so I was unable to call another, and when I was trying to charge it, he tried stealing my phone. To put a long story short, he repeatedly hit me and attempted to me, following me around the city for hours in the middle of the night. I somehow was able to charge my phone a bit. I don't remember exactly how. I called my friend. Didn't call the police because I was drunk underage. I think when he realised I wasn't going to call 911, he got more bold. Eventually, it turned from him trying to force himself on me to him just straight up beating me, even trying to push me on the train track. This was finally stopped by a bystander, thankfully. The bystander helped me charge my phone, call another Uber. The stranger also called the police, but I was already going to be in trouble for coming home so late, so I just got in the Uber before police arrived. I thanked the stranger that night, but wish I could find him again, because I feel like he literally saved me. This was traumatic for me, but I never reported it or really said anything to anyone. I thought it was all over. About a month goes by and I run into the crazy man again. He had told me the city he lives in, and it's pretty far away, so I was never expecting to see him again. He was getting off the train as I was getting on. I pretended not to see him, and he either didn't see me or pretended not to. This alarmed me because now I know we frequent the same area, but still, what can I do? Beginning of September, I'm at work. I work in a restaurant. During one of my shifts, I looked over at the host stand and immediately see him. We make eye contact, and there's a hint of recognition on his face. I tell the host not to seat him in my section. My co-worker serves him, he leaves, that's that. Mid-September, I go to a college party. As the night went on, I see the man yet again. I'm confused because when we spoke that night, he told me he was 28, which is a lot older than the typical age for a person at a college party. This time, he spoke to me, being like, "Oh, haven't seen you in a while, you're not gonna talk to me," etc. He was saying things in a kind of mocking/taunting way. I completely ignored him, starting to try to find my friends so we can all leave, and he once again starts following me around. I eventually gather my friends and kind of explain what's happening. We all get into the vehicle, he gets into his. I make note of the make, model, and write down the plate. I wasn't able to take pictures because my phone had died. He follows us until my friend yells out the window to tell him that we're calling the cops if he doesn't stop. After this, I'm kind of worried. I don't know if I'm running into him by chance or if he's following me. Still, what can I do? I could get pepper spray off of Amazon and just bring it with me. Now, October. I come home from work around a week ago at about midnight. As I'm coming off my street, I see the same car that he got in that night at the party, sitting parked a few houses down. I double checked the information. Same make, model, and plate. My heart absolutely drops. It sat there from when I got home. I kept peeking out the window until I fell asleep at around 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was gone when I woke up. I thought about where he could have gotten my address from. The only thing I can think of is he somehow followed me from work that night, or maybe the party. I told my friends about this and they were obviously worried. I haven't told my parents about any of this because I had lied about where I was going and I was drunk. I did go to the police and asked what my options were, told them about the first attack, and they more or less told me that it's not illegal to go to parties, nor is it illegal to sit on a street. I did some of my own digging. I have a first name and his number, which is blocked, but I looked on Cash App and Zelle to try and find more info, but I think it may be a burner number because there is nothing. I have now obviously ran into this man several times, but I do not believe for a second that it is by chance. but I could be paranoid. He could have been visiting the neighbour's house, I guess. I know he doesn't live on this street. Realistically, does this count as stalking? I just want to know what he wants and how much danger I'm in. What can I do? If I did tell my parents, I'm not even sure they could do anything, considering the police already told me they couldn't. This is extremely concerning. First of all, Opie seems to really be downplaying their situation, which people in the comments have obviously argued against. What happened to them is extremely serious, and while you can understand them maybe not wanting to get in trouble for being drunk while under the legal age, the serious assault that they suffered certainly trumps anything else. This is in no way meant to victim blame though, because you can totally understand why their mind is going this way, even if it's not the rational option, and they just need to realise the right steps to take. As people pointed out, Opie needs to take steps to make sure that they stay safe. They need to first make sure that their phone is always charged when they're going out, and that someone knows where they are. It would also be a good idea for Opie to invest in a portable phone charger, so that if the initial situation were to ever happen again, them being trapped with a dead phone, then they would be able to charge it up and call themselves an Uber. If it isn't illegal where they live, then pepper spray is certainly a brilliant idea as well. You can never be too careful, especially with a stalker. It's really disheartening to read that the police essentially brushed Opie off, and they should definitely go back and make them take the first attack seriously. Opie was assaulted, and the police should prioritize her safety. Opie needs to keep escalating the charges until the person in question is held for what they actually put them through. It shouldn't matter that it happened earlier in the year, or that this person is technically now just sitting in the street, because the crime has already occurred, and this stalker clearly needs to be brought to justice. It's also concerning that Opie's friend left them drunk and alone with a man who was clearly breaking her boundaries. I don't know about you, but I would never leave any of my friends alone like that, so this is very disturbing behaviour. Opie hasn't provided an update to their post, but we can only hope that they're keeping safe, and that they have made the right decision to go back to the police. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video if you did enjoy, and let me know in the comments section what you thought of these stories. Don't forget to check me out on social media. I have Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and you can also join my Discord server if you want to get involved with the community. And thank you so much to all of my Jessicur Plus members: Morrigan, Alex Rod, K4 Silver, Entrepreneur, Collectiki, Brooke, Carmella, Basefinger, Midnight Kitty, Willow, Briar, Fizzy, Shoshka, Frozen Roses, Greenlee, Snail Namgyu, JM3112, River Camera, Jessicur, Mary, Shiv the Shrew, Ollie ZRZ, Rudy Jazz, Mikey Poopy, Elfcore, Googly Goober, James Rex, Clara, and Finn71. If you want to support the channel, then make sure that you check out Jessicur Plus. For only $7.50 per month, you can get access to over 100 videos, some that will never be released on YouTube, and also an uncensored version of this video with an additional story. Go to jessicur.com for more information. I'll be back very soon with another video, but if you want another right now, then YouTube thinks that you'll like the video that's on your screen.